Hello, today I'm going to make a really famous and also very popular Chinese dish, and I think that is actually one of the most popular dishes in China. Like every people from every region can eat that. So this dish actually is very simple. It only needs tomato and eggs and green onions. If you don't like green onions, you can also exclude that. And now I'm going to deal with these vegetables and to cut them. So you need a knife and to cut those tomatoes, and I don't quite like the leaves over there, so I would just cut them off. Yeah.
I definitely need to finish them today.
So yeah, now I have already removed the leaves, and I'm going to cut them into kind of like cubes, like a bit like triangular cubes. With I don't know what is triangular cubes, but you will see. So if you like to eat softer ones, and you can cut them smaller. So after you put the tomato into the pot, and they will become softer and more become like a liquid. But if you like to feel the texture of the tomato, and actually you can make them larger. For this one, I suggest not to make the pieces of the tomatoes to be too large, because you definitely want some juice coming out of the tomatoes. So then another important part is to make the eggs. So for here, for these three for these three medium-sized tomato, and I have 2 eggs. So generally, I would say about kind of 1.5 tomato with 1 egg, and that's the size that I feel is reasonable. And so I have 2 eggs over there, and then I have one bowl, and I will just put these eggs into the bowl. So now I have 2 eggs. So down here is the chopsticks, and actually you can use that for everything. For instance, you can use that to stir the eggs. So you don't need to stir them quite much, and just to make sure that the yolk is become something like this. And then now I'm going to make it. So don't forget to use the green onions. If you don't like green onions, you don't need to use that. But I suggest to use, because it will have some good smell from the onions. So some people like to use the onion leaves part, minced onion over there. I just like to use some white parts. So it's just whatever you like. So you have a small amount of them, and now you're good. So the first step is we want to make the eggs, and I want to make sure that the wok is dry enough, because I'm going to put some oil in it. So add some oil, and so I used olive oil over here, and you can use whatever plant oil, or even oil from pork if you like to. Minced onion. So here it means it's perfect temperature, because after you put that in, you can hear the Z sound, and that is good. So wait until you can smell the onion smell. So now is the perfect time to put the eggs in. So you want it's kind of like the scrambled eggs, but it's less harder eggs. So I would just want to make sure you consolidate a bit before I'm going to make that into small pieces. So you see that it gets a bit solid now. Okay, and I can do the stir fry now. So don't make that too dry or too hard. Just still make sure that it's a bit like tender, and then you turn off the fire because you need to like heat that with tomato again. So you want like a definitely tender egg. So now I put the egg into the bowl that I have over there. I'm going to put those tomato pieces into the wok. So now I put this tomato bag onto the pot, and you can direct into the pot. Some people may want to like add a bit of oil again, but for me, I think we don't need to add that and to eat healthier. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to stir fry this tomato until it gets softer, and also when juice is coming out of it. So I'm going to keep stir frying, and I will wait until I see more and more juice are coming out of tomato. So now I'm going to add a bit salt into it. For 3 tomatoes, and add like about maybe 1 tablespoon. And basically now I'm waiting for the tomato to get softer and smaller, and so you can have some juice. See, definitely now it become more and more tomato juice over there to make it very yummy. Oh, and I forgot to mention about the fire, and actually you want to have the highest one. That's definitely fine.
So you see that the tomato juice might be coming out, and that is supposed to make the eggs very savory.
Okay, so now I'm going to put eggs in, and what you need to do is very simple, just to mix them and to make sure that the eggs mix very thoroughly with the tomato pieces and juice. So that is why we said we want like tender eggs at the first beginning. We don't want to make that too consolidated, because here is still going to heat the eggs to make that more solid. And alright, if you see like the eggs become like a bit red, and you can turn off the fire, the oven. But I'm going to add another thing. Now I'm going to add some chicken powder, but you don't need that. We're fine. So now I have my tomato and eggs. So you can eat that with everything, with either bread or with either noodles. But this time I use some rice, because I like to play a game when I was a child that I used to play with tomato and eggs. I may need some help with chopsticks to play the game. So what I'd like to when I was a child was I want to like dig a hole like on the rice. You may need a lot of rice to play that, and I realized I really eat a lot when I was a child, so I have like a lot of rice, and so I can dig a very deep hole, and like dig maybe like I can put the rice over there, and then I dig a hole over here, so you can definitely see there's a hole over there. And then now here comes my most favorite part, is I put the tomato juice in. And maybe I can dig one more. What do you think?
So maybe let's make something more. I actually plan this area, and then I can make like a face there maybe. But
maybe like a small. Okay. Yeah. Now it's not. Okay. So the one in the middle is a perfect hole, and this one is not. And now I want just to mix them over there. Okay. Here comes the most exciting moment. I want to dig one. Oh my god, it's so delicious. I mean, the tomato is very sour. Maybe because it has something to do with use organic one, not sure. And the rice is so soft that it is mixed perfectly with sour and a bit like sweet juice. So what I'm gonna do is just put more tomato and eggs in. You can hear like when the juice over the rice. Like the juice is mixed with, those you want, like a big piece of eggs. So, why there's a perfect dish in the world? That is why the tomato and eggs come really good with the rice because it has a bit juice over there, and you are eating the eggs, it's become so juicy. So this dish actually is both popular in North and South because it's kind of like a universal like preference of good flavor, and Southern people like to put more like sometimes they put some sugar in it, and Northern people they don't put sugar. It's not like a very strict definition though, it's maybe just my habit and my family's habit. So this time, this tomato and eggs is really a very successful one. I really enjoyed it, and so if you want to have a try or you want to see more Chinese food, just subscribe me. Thank you. Bye.